souls, young souls, and all my damn souls in between. Welcome back to another week of Old Soul in the Young World with your host, Jesse Ellie. Hey! Guys, it is popping in here today. We have a celebration going. We have a female entrepreneur in the studio who's the CEO and founder of her own business, Sobremesa. Welcome to the studio today, Allie. How you doing?
Hi.
Or I'm sorry, Alex. How you doing, girl?
I'm good. Happy to be here.
Hey, we're so happy to have you.
Excited.
Yes.
To talk about everything.
That's fire.
And we're super excited. We love female entrepreneurs. We love people who are starting their own business, have their own energy, are trying to grow their vibes. In Sobremesa, for those of you who are listening in and, speak Spanish, you're probably like, Sobremesa, is that a food company? Is that like a catering business? No, it's a balloon company. We got the Balloon Lady here to explain it.
Balloon Lady here.
Balloon Lady in the house. Do you want to let people know what Sobremesa is and when you actually started to come across the idea of starting it?
Mm-hmm. So initially, Sobremesa, the idea behind it was to be a luxury picnic company.
Oh,
yeah.
So it wasn't even about the balloons.
No.
Okay.
So initially, last summer, actually, I wanted to create like a picnic experience for people. Mm-hmm. I did one for my sister's birthday, mm-hmm. and I loved just like the whole process of it, how it came out. I enjoyed it so much. I was like, oh my God, this is so cute. Like, I want to give this experience to other people.
Yeah. And can I interrupt? Sorry to interrupt you, but when you say picnic experience, obviously people are thinking a basket of snacks and a little blanket. But I've seen your picnic displays, and it's way more than that. What was it that you enhanced? What was a part of your picnic experience?
Yeah. So when I did my sister's picnic, I did a ton of research. Mm-hmm. So I kind of was like, what vibe do I want? Where do I want to go with this picnic venture? And so I noticed that the ones that always called me, that I was like, I love that. Oh, look at that, what she did. Oh, I like that. Yeah. They were considered luxury picnics, where it's not just like a table and food. It's like you're having a full-blown dinner party.
She's at a high-class picnic. Yeah. Like a 5-star dining.
Girl.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, wow, I didn't even know this was a thing. But it was super cute. And so I saw other girls would decorate it, the table would have flower arrangements and just everything set up kind of it was set up like a dinner party, with the napkins and everything so cute.
Right.
And then sometimes they'd have balloons and teepees and all types of stuff. So I was like, oh my God, I love this. So I went crazy and I started buying all types of stuff.
She's like, if they can do it, I can do it. So
So that's the idea behind the name. Yeah. With time, things changed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
And I got into balloons a little more than I did the picnics.
Okay. Yeah. So then you ended, that's how you're the Balloon Lady now.
I'm the Balloon Lady.
All right, that makes sense. And so when you started the picnic business, because actually my sister follows you on Instagram,
yes,
and she won herself a picnic.
Yes.
And this was kind of during the COVID era. Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess we're kind of still there, but in the real heat of it, is that why you had kind of directed your business towards outside events and outside decoration opposed to inside balloon displays for baby showers or weddings, etc.?
Yeah, that was definitely part of it. In doing my research, I found that a lot of people, obviously, we were all staying home a little more. Yeah. And a lot of people had yards and wanted to have this cute, for birthdays, since we can't go to brunch or we can't have a full-blown party. Yeah. Let's just have a little picnic in the yard. And it started to become real popular with even kids' birthday parties and adult birthday, all types of events. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cute. I totally want to be a part of it. And I just put myself out there with the picnics and
I had a gold mine. That's an untapped business industry. And it's actually, relatable to the picnics, but a little bit different. But like a lot of influencers that I've seen over COVID, they've done like beach picnic vibes.
Yes.
Yeah. So kind of along, like they'll set up like a whole, like a low wood table to the ground with like a runner
pillows.
on it and the pillows for the seats and like high class food and all that. And with, you know, the limited options because of COVID, that, I mean, I don't know how you feel, but it seems like it was a good time to kick off that event type of business.
Totally.
Did you feel like you kind of got like, you know, good business from it in the beginning?
To be honest, I wish I would have started it like in 2020 when things were like really shut
dead.
down.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people that started it at that point in time. And so I think in the North Shore area where I'm from, a lot of people had already established that as like a you know, like a cute thing to do or like as a thing.
Yep.
So I so wish I would have started it sooner, but I got such great feedback from people that knew me and just like, whoa, you did that? And so it was just like, yeah.
Right.
And it was scary because like I've never done anything creatively and put myself out there in a creative way. I actually never even consider myself a creative person.
And that's funny that you say that because because I met you in your stage like Alex the Balloon Lady. You know what I mean? Of doing all this creative stuff that I don't see you outside of that realm. Do you, outside of your event company and everything you do, like have a regular job, a regular life, like you're...
Yes. Girl.
Okay. So you ain't just doing the events. Okay.
Yeah. So I do have a full-time job, a whole full-time job. I work in accounting full-time, and
you can be smart and creative. Y'all heard that? Smart and creative and beautiful. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
You know?
So yes, I do have a full-time job. I have kids, on and off. I'm enrolled in college, so like
oh my gosh, girl, you do so much. Wow.
I'm trying, girl.
Yes.
So I take my breaks when I need to because I'm not, you know, things can get overwhelming and hectic, and
for sure.
I'm not trying to burn myself out. But so I take my breaks when I need to with school. But my goal is to slow progress is better than no progress. And as long as I get back into it, I'm okay with it.
Yeah. And, you know, shout out to you and to any other entrepreneurs listening in, whether you're male, female, young, old, whatever. You're a great example, Alex, of just showing like you can do more than a 9 to 5. You can do more than a regular job. Does it take the extra effort?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Does it take the extra energy?
Oh, for sure.
Does it take the extra money, time? Yeah. But it's not impossible. You know what I'm saying? And even you yourself, like you said, I didn't consider myself a creative. Was it like, did you feel like it was just the spark of learning about event planning that kind of got you interested? Or like for you, where did that creativity kind of like come into play?
So for like a while, I would really enjoy decorating for like my family, like my mom's birthday, like my mom's 50th birthday. We did like
it always starts at home, you feel me?
Totally. Yeah. And so like for my mom's 50th, I remember we did like a brunch type of event right at her house, and it was a surprise, and she loved it. She cried, so we made her cry. Aww. It was good.
That's a win. If you made mom cry, you know it was good. You feel me?
In a good way.
Yeah, in a good way.
So like I did that for her, then for my dad's birthday that same year. And just like my family, my sisters, or even my fiance would say like, babe, you're really good at this. Like, you should think about doing this on the side, or like, and at that time, and this is where like, we'll probably get to talk about this, but this is where mental health comes into play. Because at that time, I think I had so much doubt in myself that I just didn't see it.
Yes.
Like I just didn't see myself.
Like
as,
everyone else saw you, but you didn't see
I didn't
you.
see me.
Yeah.
So I used to be like, no, that's not even that good. Like, you know, I was just like playing it down and just like, nah. And it wasn't that great compared to what I do now.
But it wasn't that bad.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No, it was a start. And we all start somewhere.
Exactly.
Nobody starts up here.
No.
We all start right here.
Girl.
And if unless we continue to work, we're never going to get up here.
Right.
So, but that's the issue, that a lot of people just want to go up here. And so that's why they don't start.
They don't want to enjoy the process of what it takes to get to the top. You know what I'm saying? Because it is an everyday, working at every day, whether you're sitting at home and researching, how do I make balloon displays? And we're like, this goes to every level, because right now we're talking about making balloon displays, but you can apply this to being a music producer or starting a podcast or being a writer or whatever it is.
Right.
You know? So.
Right. Yeah. So that's kind of how it started. I would do it for family. I did it for my sister, and that was kind of what did it. So this was before the pandemic that I started doing for like my mom, my dad. And then in 2021, when I did that first picnic, that's when I was like, I was in a different mind space at that point in time. 2018, 2019, I think was when I was doing it and not really like feeling it, or not really feeling myself.
Yeah.
2021, I was like, hold up.
You're like, wait a second.
I can do that.
I got something more to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I did that. So when people were like, I posted it on, all my social media platforms, on my stories, on Instagram, and I was getting a lot of great feedback. And that I remember crying, because I was like,
that feeling.
Right. Yeah. I was like, wow, you guys think this looks amazing? And like everyone was like, girl, that looks so good. And like, I can't believe like that looks amazing. And just a lot of people started hitting me up. Oh my God, you got to do it for me. Oh my God, my birthday's coming up. And I was just like, you guys believe in me.
It's crazy because sometimes people around us see us before we can actually see the real us. You know what I'm saying? And like, that's a complete example of it. It's like everyone's telling you how good your work is. And you're like, but I'm not good enough. You know what I mean? And maybe that even plays into the realm of like mental health, of us always believing we have to be better or we have to live up to some type of
be perfect.
And like also being a female in that expectation of perfection in whatever that we do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because it's definitely like when I jumped into it, I didn't really research the business aspect of it.
Right.
And in a way, I'm glad I didn't. So because the type of person that I am, I would have found all these excuses to not do it.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be here right now.
It would have been too overwhelming, like if you look at all the details going forward.
Absolutely. Yep. And then like in doing research too, you see how many other people are also doing it.
Right.
And so then you're like, well, why does this business need me? Like, so you just, there's so many, it's the way you talk to yourself, and it's just the whole,
Girl, you keep hitting all the points that I want to talk about, but it's so true, because it is how you talk about yourself, how you value yourself, how you talk to yourself, in just knowing that even if you're not at that level that other people are at, it doesn't matter, because we're all trying to come up, and I think even myself, I get stuck in that cycle of comparison. Do you know what I'm saying? Of, oh, well, there's people out there who have podcasts with 1 million followers or whatever. They get 100,000 listens every episode they drop. Sometimes it doesn't matter about that. It's about just starting, because like if you look at Alex before you started doing the balloon company or Sobremesa or the events or anything, and Alex now, do you see a difference in the person of who you are, like confident wise, or just like outward?
100%. Like not the same person. I mean, I'm here to impress myself. I'm here in this world. Like my goal in life is to just impress myself. And I say that
You're
because
your own competition.
100%.
Yes.
And that's why, to me, like I don't. Like I've had like people reach out to me like, hey, how did you do this? Or like, hey, what vendor did you use for this? Or like, hey, how do you, just asking questions. And I'm never afraid to share my knowledge with anyone, because I think there's enough people for everyone. There's enough people celebrating birthdays and having baby showers and doing all types of events. And they're going to see something in you that they don't see in me. They're going to see something in me that they don't see in you. And they're just going to go with whoever they want to go with. And I don't believe that, and maybe this is a bad thing, but like I just don't believe there's competition, and not in like an arrogant way, just because I feel like there's someone out there for everyone.
And that's a beautiful mindset to have, because a lot of people starting businesses and entrepreneurs all they do is compare themselves and try to be competitive and try this and that. And that can backfire so easily. You know what I'm saying? Like exactly what you said about doing research and how it would have like made you come up with excuses. Same thing for me. Like I jumped into this podcast. It wasn't like months of me planning or years of me like creating the name or blah, blah, blah. It was like I got the name, started the podcast. My friend kind of encouraged me to do it. He was like, yo, Jess, you got this. Yep. And it wasn't even this. It wasn't video recorded. It was just an audio live radio station website.
And look at you now.
Yeah, and look at you. You know what I'm saying? So anyone listening in who like you have that initial idea of something you want to follow, don't let people deter you from following that, or even yourself deter you from following that, because you can be a whole new you in like a week or a month or a year. You know, so.
Yeah. Well, I'll use the example of my first big event that I did.
Yes, please.
So I had someone that I know. I used to work with her years ago. And she was expecting. She hit me up. Hey, can you do my baby shower? I'm having a baby. I was so excited for her. And at that time, I was like, I don't know, I was like 3 months into this thing. I was like, oh my God.
You're like, wait, what?
Yeah, I was like, hold up.
You're like, me do
a whole baby shower.
And you're by yourself. I just want to, for the audience, you are a single woman team. Yeah. No members involved.
No. Shout out to everyone who helps me out though. Like my sisters, my cousins, the hubby, like, yes. Oh my God.
Shout out
because
them.
Without them, like, I definitely sometimes just need like that one extra person to
even
to
if
give me
it's a
hand.
support system, like, yo, you got this today, like,
for sure,
you know.
Yeah, so I remember her hitting me up to do her baby shower, and me just feeling like there's no way I can do it. You know, wow, this is like such a huge event. Like, I'm not sure if I can handle it. Doubting myself, and I told her I don't think that I'm the right person for it. And a couple months later, she reached out to me again saying, hey, can you help me find a vendor, or do you know of a venue? Do you know of a venue that allows you to bring in your own food? Because me and my family, everyone wants to cook and bring their own food, and a lot of venues are not allowing us to do that.
Right.
So I said, you know what, let me ask around, let me see what I find out, and I'll let you know. And in helping her do that, and this was a couple months after she had asked me to do it initially, in helping her do that, she asked me one more time. She was like, can you please just do it for me? And I was like, you know what, girl?
Practically begging at this point, like, Alex, please do my balloons.
I love that though, because like I know her.
Or event, actually.
Yeah. You know how much it means when people, like, believe in you and like support you.
And you don't want to let them down neither, because you're like, you're already supporting me. So I want to show you that love back.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was like, let's do it, girl. Let's do it. And so I jumped into it, and but that's what it is. It's like in just those couple months from the first time she asked me to then the second time, something in me has sparked that made me believe in myself, that it made me feel I can actually do this baby shower for you. The whole thing. Let's do it.
Right. And if you don't take that like initial step to be like, okay, will I fail? Will I completely fail? Or will it be okay? And can I get up from it? You would never have known. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And that was nerve-wracking, because when you're in the event industry, these are people's special events. These are people's birthdays. These are kids' first birthdays. Their very first birthday is always so special, and it's just you're the pressure. You want it to be perfect. You don't want to screw up. You want all the details to go along with what they told you they wanted, and so it's a lot of pressure. Yeah, and so I definitely felt that.
Yes,
but she ended up being so happy with it, and I was like,
hey. And then that sparks the motivation to be like, oh, so I can do this, and maybe I can even do better. What can I do better next time? How can I make it more involved, or put my style into it?
I learned so much from that event, like so much. I mean, you learn from every event as you go, but like I just remember afterwards feeling overwhelmed in a good way, because I was like, holy crap, like
I did that,
and now I know how to do it in a different way, or like I learned how to do it better than I was doing it before.
And is this the one that you did like the flower piece centerpieces for? Like you did everything you were the event planner?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was all of it.
And then you realized you were like, I don't want to be the event planner. Like, have you seen Jennifer Lopez in that movie where she's the event planner?
Yes.
The wedding planner.
Yes.
Yo, and she is like stressed out. She doesn't have a relationship. She doesn't have a life. All she does is like wedding planning.
I was like, I don't want to do that. I was like, I want to be the person there decorating that the event planner hires.
Yeah. Like, I just want to work with the balloons and the decorations. That's it.
Yeah. And that helped me figure that out. Because out of all the things, all of the components of that event, the balloons was my favorite. So I was like, out of everything I did, balloons was like my favorite part of it. So I was like, I kind of want to focus on that.
Yeah, and that's dope. And it gave you the opportunity to realize that within yourself. Like, okay, this is the niche that I'm good at. You know what I'm saying? Even though I know you mentioned like you love floral like designs and all of that. But with, you know, creating balloon displays, and I'm sure a lot of people listening in, even myself, I don't know the techniques, the time, what you actually use to connect the balloons and make it like, so like, if you're listening in, let me like visualize this for you guys. Like, she makes like balloon arches, like legit, like it looks like an arch. They can look like rainbows. They can be like curved, so it looks like a moon. There can be like flowers on it. Like, there's just all different designs and shapes and patterns. Like, it's not just like balloons on strings. You know what I'm saying? It's an actual piece of art, which is crazy. And I actually want to whip this out from your Instagram because you put it on one of your posts, but you're putting up a picture of one of your displays and you put literally not just balloons, it's art with an exclamation and a smiley face. And I'm like, girl, that's 100% because the time that goes into creating that, even if it only lasts for a couple weeks, it's the same thing as creating an art installation that would last for like 10 years.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's very time consuming. And I think that's
imagine.
It's one of the pieces that people don't realize. And that's one of the challenges that I face with being in this industry is people basically feeling like, oh, well, she's new. So like she can't be charging that much or like, you know, and I think a lot of people reach out to me and expecting me to, I don't know what they expect me to be charging. And then when I hit them with an invoice, they're like, oh.
They're like, oh, wow. Okay, I'll get back to you, girl. But it's like, that's part of what you actually put into making these. And I don't know if you would mind sharing, but like, what are your techniques? How do, like, from what you can tell, I don't want you to give any of your secrets away. You know what I'm saying? But
there are many different techniques that you can use. So I've tried all of them to see which one worked for me or which one I enjoy the most. So you basically get yourself like a balloon pump. Anybody can get a balloon pump off Amazon anywhere. And you fill up all your balloons. So it has two like nozzles. So you can do 2 balloons at a time. So you fill up 2 balloons and then you tie them at the neck together. And so you create like a pair.
So you're using the necks of the balloons to tie the necks together.
And you just you fill them all up. Just do that until you have however many balloons you'll need for the design. And then after that, you have to create what we call balloon clusters. So it's grabbing those pairs of balloons that you just did and basically intertwining them together to create a cluster of like 6 or 8 balloons. So now you have a bigger cluster. And
can I just ask, while you're explaining this, do you pre-plan, like in my head I'm picturing like a piece of paper and you're like, all right, balloon cluster 1, it's gonna have like 2 pink balloons, 1 blue balloon, 1 white balloon, like cluster 2, like is it that type of pre-planning?
No, not necessarily, but that's the part that takes time though. So like once you have your clusters together, that's just your base. The design portion of it, when you're at the venue or you're at the party, that's what takes time. So like once you put the base together, it looks plain. So
you don't bring your arches in a full arch to your events. It's not pre-made. Like you are going to the events and setting it up there, like live, pretty much.
Because you want to see, you got to get a feel for it. Like not
in the space that you're working in.
Exactly. And like not one arch is the same. So like once you're there, now you're like, that's when you kind of start seeing like what shape you want it to take and like where do you add these 5 inches balloons. Those are the little ones that gives it a pop, you know. And then it fills in some holes, and it makes all the difference. The baby balloons.
Yeah.
That's what I call them. But yeah, the design part of it is really, I could do the base in like an hour. Mm-hmm. But then once I'm there and then adding to make it bulkier and then adding those final touches, that's really what takes time, because that's what makes it special. That's what makes it be so beautiful. Definitely. You know, you add the flowers, you add the little, you know, the gold and this and that, and then you have the end result.
So before you go to an event, you do not sketch out or write down anything that you're like creating. It's more of a mental vision that you like create actually when you get there?
Sometimes I do sketch out. So like I go in kind of knowing, like having an idea based on like what I discussed with the client of like what I want to do.
Yep.
But it's not till you're there doing it that it comes to life, you know?
Right, right.
But yes, definitely I do sketch out a lot. I write everything down. So like sometimes I do it on paper and I am not a good drawer. That is not my forte. But sometimes I'll sketch it on paper just so that I know kind of like where I want to go with it.
Yeah.
And that's just a basic idea though. Like I feel like once you're there, things change. But sometimes I use Canva.
Oh, okay. I use Canva all the time.
Mm-hmm. I create whole mock-ups.
Okay.
For the client to see, you know, based on what we discussed, like this is kind of what I have planned for you. This is what it will look like. That takes time as well.
I bet, because that's almost like also now you're mixing in a graphic design portion and an art portion. Like when you talk about, it's crazy because I don't think you even know this, but I'm a painter too. So like I've been into art since I was very young. I took art classes throughout middle into high school. And then after I just branched on doing my own stuff. But when you talk about creating the clusters and that's like your initial base, I think about painting watercolor or acrylic, and it's like I got to put my initial base coat down. I need to figure out what I want that base color to be, and then I need to build my details off of that. You know what I'm saying? Work on the sketch, work on the whatever, and then it takes the time of, it's like layer upon layer that you have to build the outcome.
Right. And sometimes the vision you had initially ends up being a little different because once you start doing it, you're like, you know what? I don't think I want this color. I think I want this color. And so it's like, yeah. But no, so like that part is, it's all what goes into it. And I think that's some of the things that people don't realize. It's like, it takes me hours to create a mock-up just so that you can see my vision, you know, so that you can see what I'm trying to do for you and be like, oh my God, that's amazing. Like, I definitely want that. Let's sign this contract.
Right. So and then making sure that they know, like, even though we're agreeing on this concept, it doesn't mean it's exact the day that I get there, because everything's fluid, you know, just like a painting or whatever it may be.
Exactly.
Or you could have balloons pop, right? I mean, I don't know. Have you ever dealt with that?
Oh yeah. So of course. Oh my God.
Oh, hell yeah.
So starting off, you know, I didn't know about brands of balloons and like which balloons were.
Are you telling me there's balloon brands?
So many different brands,
different like textures and shit. And
not so much texture, but just quality.
Quality. Okay.
Yeah. So
wait, you guys, we got some balloon talk going on today. If you don't know the balloon vocab, you better get hip.
And I didn't know any of this, and that's all like I found out through research, you know.
Yeah.
But there's some brands that are better than others, and they'll last longer. They won't pop if you are doing an installation outside and it's on grass or. I mean, there's
all these different things you have to consider.
Totally. Yes. Yeah. Weather, the sun, if the sun's going to be shining on them, they oxidize. So they become kind of ashy.
Okay. Or, yeah.
I'm not sure.
Like they lose their color, like they dim a little, right?
Exactly. Okay, they get this like matte look. And some people like it, don't mind it. Some people want them to be shiny. So then you got to spray them with this like balloon shine spray.
Are you telling me there's balloon shine spray? I feel like these are all these weird details that people don't know. Like when they're like behind the scenes dressing people for movies and they're like, you got to spray something there. And like, wow.
And that helps the balloons last longer, and it helps with the, so that they don't become oxidized. And they won't pop as easily either with that spray on them. But it's so many factors you have to consider when you're setting up, if it's cold, if the sun's going to be on them, if it's too hot, if it's going to be on grass, and all types of stuff.
And it's not something that's like, okay, you go to college and you can take a decorating or balloon making or event class. You know what I'm saying? This is things where it's almost like you need to have mentors or people that you can, talk to, and you guys can share techniques and share things that you do. And I know recently you actually went to one of your first balloon workshops, which is pretty dope. And I didn't even know that was a thing.
That was amazing.
What was that like, going to a balloon workshop?
So I had been looking for a workshop in the area, and I could not find one around. So like there were so many in like New York. I found one in Pennsylvania, Maryland. I never found one in Massachusetts. And then I went to a networking event where it was for creatives, for people in the event industry. I found the event through Instagram.
Okay.
And I bought a ticket. I asked a friend who does the same type of work that I do. And I said, hey, do you want to go to this? This would be really cool. And we went together. And in that networking event, I met Emily.
Hey.
Yay.
Shout out, Emily.
Yes. And she's amazing.
Is that her business name?
Events by Emily.
Events by Emily?
Yep.
All right.
Yep. Yeah. And so she has been amazing. I met her there, and she had mentioned that she was going to be having a balloon workshop coming up. And I was like, I need to be part of that.
Yes.
Like, let me know when. She was like, add me on Instagram, and I'll put it out there. And so when she did, I was like, yes, I got to do it.
Yes.
And it was great. It was great. It was amazing. I met some other ladies who were on the same boat as me, just trying to learn some more and some new techniques and getting into the business. And that alone was like great, just to meet other people that are doing the same thing you're doing.
Right.
As you know, because you just learn so much from different people.
Yeah, exactly.
And so at that workshop, we learned how to do ceiling installations. So like balloons.
Girl, I've seen you on a ladder. I'm not going to lie. She has this post on her Instagram. You have to follow her on Instagram. But she on this ladder, like installing balloons onto like the high ceiling bars. And I was like, oh, girl. I'm like, what?
It was scary. I'm afraid of heights. So like for me, that was like, that was scary for me. I was like, oh my God, I don't like this. But it's pretty cool. So I learned a lot of cool
like pushes you out of your comfort zone.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like all this is stuff I would have never done, 4 years ago.
Right.
But so I met Emily, and then I actually ended up volunteering for one of her events.
Okay.
At a different time.
Is this the celebration of life that I had seen?
Yes.
Oh, I would love to talk about this if you're willing.
Yeah.
This, you helped out with the celebration of life recently, and it's like a whole event venue celebrating, the death of somebody, and it made it so positive.
Yes.
It's just like beautiful.
It was incredible. And then even being there, like at the end after it was all put together, you should see the video. I mean, there were so many vendors making this happen.
Yeah.
It's just, you don't really ever see behind the scenes. You just see the final result, like on social media.
Right.
I love when creatives show you what happens behind the scenes. I like to do that. And so I've started recording little videos and snippets of us doing stuff like that. And I, of course, make sure everyone involved is okay with me, like sharing it and all that. And it's never usually a problem. But there were, the florists, there was us, the balloon people. There were people coming in doing the flooring. There were people there, the food. There was just so many people coming in and doing their thing. And when it all came together, it was just such it was so beautiful.
Yeah.
I remember having goosebumps because they had like a big picture of him at the venue. And it was just like, wow, this is like, it was almost like you felt his energy there. And I don't even know this guy, but like I just felt it. And I was like, wow.
And it's beautiful that like you can translate something so simple into like from balloons or event planning, but people don't understand how much that actually means. You know what I'm saying? Like people who put the time, effort, and energy into making these celebrations happen, like that was a whole event planned around somebody who lost their life and people coming together to respect it and celebrate it. And the display, like I can't even express it, guys. You just have to go follow Alex and check her out on Instagram. But like the displays of balloons from all over the rafters of the whole ceiling, like covered in balloons, to arches shaped like rainbows, to like things you could walk through, balloon arches. Like it was just like, it looked like out of a fairy tale. It looked fake. You know what I'm saying? And it's weird that through something so simple as event planning or balloons, we can bring forward like that expression, that self-expression, or that meaningfulness of like, it can even make you get chills, you know what I'm saying? Because it brings out the emotion. Right. So it's like, you know, for anybody who does event planning or puts their time or energy into, you know, doing that, it can mean so much to those people that you have no idea the effect that it actually leaves. Right. You know, so that's like even more special than anything, like being involved in that community.
Exactly. Dope, so. And then just being part of it, it you know, it was not my event. I was helping out. Yeah. But just being part of it was amazing, and you just learn so much. You learn, as you know, practice makes perfect. So you're not going to learn if you're not failure. Yeah. But you learn from all of that, you know? And so just being part of it and helping Emily out was fantastic. She's a great mentor. I have her number. She's always like, if you ever have any questions, just like you can text me. And she's amazing. She's amazing. I appreciated her putting together the balloon workshop. I personally, when I started this business venture, I had reached out to some people in the event industry, just asking questions like, hey, you know, or even asking to like volunteer for them because I wanted to learn. And I was kind of like, sure, I can like YouTube stuff, but it's so different when you're doing it. You can watch a million videos, but doing it hands-on, a whole nother story. Exactly. And I had reached out to a few people that I knew. They've been doing this for many years, and, you know, they're every weekend booked. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I look up to these people. I hope they can like, you know, help me out with like volunteer for them. I can learn from them or whatever. Just left me on red.
And that, and that is the thing. And it's so funny because we don't, I mean, even myself, like I have never thought of the balloon event industry in whole as being a thing. Like I just think of event planning. I don't think of a balloon maker, somebody doing the decorations or et cetera. Like you go to the party, you enjoy the celebration, all that. But the actual time, the effort that goes into it, it's like exactly what you said. How do you learn unless somebody shows you? If you can't be taught this at college, if you have to be going to, I call it YTU, which is YouTube University. Anybody can go to YouTube University, so don't tell me that you need money. But it really is like you can teach yourself to a certain extent, but then it's like, okay, what mentor can I look towards where it's like you can give me those techniques that I could not get without the experience. Exactly. And being a young woman in that and building it like on your own, do you feel like going forward, you know, those people not answering you or things you've gone through, the trials, the struggles have helped you realize like how you want to run this business or if you want to like help other people or whatever that may be?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm a huge believer that like, I just don't believe that we need to be so competitive.
I say, girl, everybody can eat at my table. And, you know, people don't agree with me, but I really, really believe the table is big enough for everybody.
Yeah, I say it all the time. Like, if that's what 100%. It's going to take for me to make it to the top, is like not helping someone that's starting off, then like I'm never going to make it to the top.
Yeah, you're like, then I don't want it. Because I'm going to help everybody along the way.
Like, I haven't been doing this for too long, but I've had people reach out asking questions, and I'm always willing to answer their questions or even give them advice if they're asking for advice. Or like, I'm not like afraid of competition because I feel, and not in an arrogant way. Like, I think I said this to you earlier, but just like, there's someone out there for everyone. And there's no need for like the animosity or like whatnot. But definitely it helped me realize that whenever I do, you know, have 10 years under my belt doing this, I think I definitely would enjoy teaching it, kind of similar to like what Emily does, and just put it like helping people get their business started in this industry and give them the advice that like Emily gave me, that which was amazing. Like I've expressed to her how much I appreciated that whole workshop, because I learned so much, and it's all these questions that we have that no one gives us the answers to, you know. So it was just amazing. I was like, this is something I would love to do.
Especially being in a rare industry where it's not like platform, you know, given that platform or broadcasted, where it's like there are all these accessible workshops. Like you said, you searched and you looked around and there was nothing. You know, so
not in the area.
Yeah. And, you know, like within yourself as Alex, as, you know, whatever you've been through in life, and like, you know, being a young woman, and I know that we talked about like you were a parent pretty young in your life. Where or how, maybe is the better question, how did you find the motivation to keep going, to like want to actually even put any of your extra time in starting business? You have 2 kids, you know what I'm saying? You have a full-time job, all this stuff. Like, where did you pull it out of you? Be like, you know what? I can make it happen. Like, I can do this, even if people told you couldn't. Like, because here you are fucking doing it and speaking about it, which is even more beautiful.
So it's funny because I think my kids, it's balloons. So, you know, kids love balloons.
Oh, yes.
So they're always wanting to go with me to help out. And I have taken them sometimes with me. If I'm doing it for someone that we know, I'll ask, like, is it okay if I bring, you know, my oldest with me or whatnot? And they really enjoy it. And my little one, he's always asking, like, Mommy, can I go help you decorate? It's just the cutest thing. So honestly, they're the ones who kind of motivate me. They're always at home, like, can I help you fill up the balloons? Or like, they just always want to help. And when I come back and I show them pictures or videos of what I did, they're always like, wow, Mom, that's so cool. Like,
it's like
you
Mom's
did that?
magical.
Like, And they even help me pick out the songs for like the TikTok videos and stuff. So they are kind of like my hype man.
I love that.
And the hubby too, like, just pretty much everyone in my life has been very supportive and just kind of like rooting for me. So that's been everything.
Yeah. And that's so important sometimes. Like, and you know, if you're listening and you don't have those people supporting you, just know it is still possible. And if you do have those people supporting you, you are so lucky, and take advantage of that, and learn how to use that to build yourself and push yourself forward, and give back. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, like, you're like, yo, if I'm doing this in 20 years, I would love to run those workshops and teach younger people. So that's even a great concept to have in itself, because it can be passed down. It doesn't have to be secrets. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can all have that knowledge of how to make ourselves better and how to be entrepreneurs. And it's weird because, like, I think maybe we're on the same page with this. Like, when we both started our businesses, we didn't consider it a business. We just considered doing it because we felt like we wanted to, or we were interested in it, or it's something we were supposed to do. But over the long run, you do see there are a lot of, like we talked about, budgeting, buying your products, investment, you know, all of that, scheduling, talking to clients. Everything. It's like all the stuff that nobody tells you about. And then you have to become, also besides being a creative, a businesswoman. So it's a lot to take on. And I think that when people, you know, see your balloon displays, they're like, oh, that's so gorgeous. But they don't see what actually goes into the planning and the pre-planning and production of the outcome of what you make for the party. So
100%. And to chime in on what you said, for people who don't have maybe a support system, or just like, you know, kids rooting you on, or a husband or whatnot rooting you on, you gotta be your own hype man.
Yo, can you say that again? Can you say it a little louder?
You gotta be your own hype man.
Hey! She already knows. It's so true. Nobody's gonna be there for you but you at the hardest times in your life. Like, whether you're married or, like you said, they're your kids, they came from your body. The only person who is ever gonna emotionally, physically, and just motivationally, I guess, be there for you is yourself. And, you know, off camera, I know that we talked that mental health is very important to that process, and like staying in a good, like, mindset. Do you feel like starting the business and trying to stay in that mindset has kind of like, has it helped you, I guess, having the business to stay in a positive mindset, or like?
For sure.
Yeah.
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 I feel like mental health sometimes is people. Okay, I'll give you the example of myself. So after I had my little one, he was born in 2017. I never struggled with depression. I never struggled with mental health issues. Or maybe I did, and I just wasn't in tune with myself. I'm 100% not sure.
No, that's real.
But I found myself feeling different, just not myself all the time, and I just didn't like it. I was like, I don't like this person that I don't like how I feel. I don't like this me now.
Yeah.
And I kept trying to fight it, and I kept trying to fight it, and I kept trying to be who I was before I had my little one. And I just kept trying to bounce back or snap back or whatever.
Right.
And it wasn't until I realized, you know what, I think I'm struggling. I'm struggling mentally, and I'm struggling with all these feelings that I never had before, and I don't know how to manage them. So let's educate ourselves, and let's find out, what do we need to do. And instead of trying to become that old Alex, this is the new Alex.
Yes.
And we're going to have to build her up.
Yes, girl.
And so that, I think letting go of the old me and just embracing the new me and nurturing the new me, that was everything. And even now with the business, just starting the business, I would have never done that back then. I just would have never. I would have been like, girl, ain't nobody gonna hire you, girl. Because that's how you talk to yourself when you're in a toxic mental health space with yourself.
Exactly.
And now I'm like Issa Rae from Insecure, where I'm like, girl, you got this. You gonna kill this, girl.
Right? Yo, facts. Oh my God. And like, I love what you said about like, when people want your services and then you send them the invoice and they're like, damn. And it's like, I just kept hearing in my head, like, the price that it was yesterday is not the price that it is today. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am not the same me as I was yesterday. I value myself much more. So I value my art and my business much more.
And the price is the price.
And the price is the
not
price.
negotiable. And I think that's one of the things, too, that I find myself struggling with people, with customers and clients, is that they seem to think that, like, oh, well, someone else can do it for cheaper. And it's like, well, then go let them do it.
Right. But it's like what you bring to it. And honestly, not trying to hype you up, but you just have an amazing personality. So
Thank you.
If you're looking for any balloon designer to work with, Alex is just literally somebody who will listen to your ideas and put it into reality and make sure that you like it. And I do want to shout out, and so that we can show some cute little pictures of my niece. Alex actually designed my niece's 3rd birthday party balloon display, which we set up at my sister's house. It was so dope.
So cute.
It was actually an Encanto themed party. Yeah. So when we show the balloon arch, you'll see, but it was like a balloon arch filled with like gold flowers mixed in and like different pinks, whites, purples. And she absolutely killed it. So my niece was enthralled for weeks. They still have it in their house. It's been like a month since the party. So it was fire. Yeah. Just want to thank you and shout you out for that.
Thank you. Yeah, when I went to take it down, she thought I was gonna like take the balloons with me or something. I was like, no, you can keep the balloons.
She would have been so sad if you took those balloons. Are like her livelihood right now. I don't know what we're gonna do. We might have to blow up like a new balloons when they're gone.
I could never do that to her. No, and actually, so like birthdays are my favorite thing to do. I like kids' birthdays because they're just always so like wowed by it, and they're just they're so. You can't. Kids don't fake it. They don't No. They don't know how to fake it.
And if they don't like it, they'll tell you, be like, "Oh, that's whack."
Exactly.
Well, they wouldn't say whack, but they'd be like, "Oh, that's ugly."
That's ugly. And so to see kids' reaction to like whenever I do a setup for kids, it's always so like, "Aw," because they're always like, "Wow," and just so happy, and I'm like, "Oh."
And it's funny. It's like you could be busy all week at work doing your numbers, do this, that. You're all stressed out, and then it's like then you can actually be Alex, where you get to go like display your creativity and put that into play, where it's like put some beauty into the world and create some positivity for others. So
and it doesn't feel like work. I feel like we were talking about this earlier when you love what you do, when you enjoy it like from the bottom of your heart, it just does not feel like work. It doesn't feel like, I don't know, like to me it's like a self-care thing.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
And that's like how I feel about, the podcast. It's like, even though it is work and there's so much that goes on behind the scenes that people don't see, it's a relief.
Right.
At the same time. It's something I enjoy that's like, on those days when you're done working a job and you're like, what do I do with myself? Should I go watch TV? Should I go eat? Should I go drink? Nah, I'm going to put my time into something that I love that can push me forward and motivate me and help others at the same time.
Exactly.
So, shout out to you and thank you for like being willing to come on and talk about
Oh my
starting
God,
that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Hey.
Like, I was so happy when we met and you asked me and I was like, yeah.
And it's like even this because like, who knows, maybe Allie 2 years ago, if I had asked you, you wouldn't feel the confidence that you have to come on and open up about your business and be like, yes, this is mine. I'm proud of it.
I probably would have left you hanging today.
She's like, I wouldn't have showed up, girl. You would have been sitting there by yourself.
But that's the whole mental health part of it. Because that back then, like, I mean, I lost friendships over this, over what I was going through at the time. And it was because I felt like friendships are like relationships. If you're in a relationship and you cannot give that person what they need from you to be in like a healthy, happy relationship, then you shouldn't be in that relationship. Same thing with friendships. And we all grow people, and that's totally okay. But as a friend, I feel like if the type of friend you want out of me is not who I am anymore, or it's not what I can give you as a friend, then like I don't want to be that friend to you. You know what I mean?
Exactly, girl. I do know what you mean. And it's hard because when you're a creative, and especially being a female, being a creative and having a different vision than just working that 9 to 5 and going out and partying on the weekends or going to clubs or this and that, like whatever it is that everyone else enjoys, it's like it makes you different. It puts you in a different mindset, a different group, a different lifestyle, and it changes your thinking process. You know what I'm saying? It kind of matures you to be like, I can say no to that. You know what I'm saying? I know when I've outgrown something and I know when it's not healthy for me. And sometimes there's people around you who they're still in that set mind where they're like, wait, oh, so you're changing now? Oh, so you're going to be different? So you're not Allie anymore? Like, nah, I am. But this is who I've always been. It just hasn't been able to come out. So either you embrace it or you don't embrace it, but don't let anybody take advantage of you.
Right. And that's the thing. A lot of people are not comfortable when you finally, like, set your boundaries. When you finally realize, like, you know what? No, I don't want to do that with you. Or like, no, I don't want you to do that with, or like whatever. And a lot of people are not accepting of that. And it's just, it is what it is.
And it's crazy because business, lifestyle, mindsets, mental health, it all ties into one.
It does.
And the thing is, people think they can separate them, but it literally is a combination.
Right.
Like if you want your business right, you got to get your mind right. If you want your mind right, you got to get your organization right. You feel me? It's like all a cycle.
Right. So I think the mental health is what drives everything. I think if your mental isn't right, your physical is not going to be right.
100%.
It just won't. And nothing else will really, I think when you take care of your mind and just like yourself, everything else kind of falls into place. Because and again, using what I was going through as an example, I feel like at that time I was so focused on like, oh, I want to lose the baby weight, or like, oh, I want to
the physical
snap back. And I wasn't realizing that what I needed to do was internal. It was not it was not physical. Right. And when I noticed that, then it's like everything else kind of started aligning and falling into place. And look at me now. I have a business. I would have never thought that I would be here.
Right. Exactly.
And so you really have to focus on taking care of yourself and taking care of your mind, and I feel like everything else after that is going to follow.
And, a friend said to me recently, like, you come first. Like, no matter what, you have to put you first, even if everybody else around you is wanting to pull you in this direction, that direction. And this is advice to myself, because still to this day, I try to stretch myself thin, trying to please everybody or do everything. but how do I keep this going? Do you know, how do I keep something I love, my business, my pride and joy, my baby, you know, going? I have to put me first.
Exactly.
So I appreciate you even being open enough to talk about that to anyone listening in, because I think a lot of us struggle with that no matter where you're from, what race, culture, or age. We have a hard time identifying with ourselves and believing in it. You know, and Ali, before we go, I want to ask you a quick question.
Okay.
Why I started this podcast is kind of based upon mental health and everything I gone through internally when I was younger, feeling different, feeling out of place, feeling like I was older even when I was younger and I had a purpose, and being like, well, what the fuck's that purpose? I don't know, but it's there internally, and it made me feel like I was an old soul. So that's kind of where the concept of Old Soul in the Young World came from. What do you, as Alex, as Balloon Lady, as whatever you are in your life, what do you feel like it means to be an old soul in a young world?
Well, I feel like in this day and age where things are just so different, I feel like people don't have the same values that like I had growing up.
Yes.
And I think that's what it is. I think people think that everything and everyone is disposable. I think that people worry too much about their image on social media. As an example, social media is a huge component of how we feel, I think. Like, I'm the type of person, I need a break sometimes from social media just to kind of be like, you know what, I don't even want to see what's going on out there right now.
Same. Yep.
But I think being an old soul is having those values, and just sometimes being an old soul can make you feel a little disconnected with the world, because not everyone has that.
Exactly.
Not everyone feels that way.
100%.
And so I don't know. I feel like that's kind of what it is. It's just having more, like knowing that you're here for more, like knowing that there is a purpose for you in this world. And just when you find it, like when I started the balloon and the balloon business or the picnic business, it finally felt like I found that. Like I found what means so much to me. Like it was such a surreal moment. I'm pretty sure you felt the same way with your podcast when you started it, feeling like, I love this. Like, this is just, it just makes you so happy.
Yes, girl. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. It doesn't matter if it's creating balloon displays, if it's event planning, if it's podcasting, if it's videography, it's writing, whatever it may be, fashion design. I can't even think of everything, cooking, whatever it is that you feel like when you put your time, your effort, and your energy into that, it is making you a better person and bringing out something in you that's more than being a slave, looking for a job, working a 9 to 5, going through the cycles, just living this life. Like when it is more than that, that's when it's like, okay, I get it now. You know what I'm saying? And it's like anybody listening in, if you haven't found that niche yet, just know it is out there for you, and it can be out there for you if you want to work for it, if you want to research it, and if you want to put the time and effort into it. And Alex, I cannot thank you enough, because I know, like you said, from before, like you didn't see you know what I'm saying? And like even now, I don't even know if you see your full potential, but I do, you know what I'm saying? And like you are dope, and I know in 10 years, 20 years, like I see you playing my way. I see you playing my podcast events, like us having like a dope fucking lineup of musicians, and you're just putting balloon displays up everywhere. But anyways, I just want to thank you for being willing to open up about that journey, because it doesn't matter where it is in the industry. It's always going to be a struggle to get to the success.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? And anyone who's listening in, who's interested in like, what is Sobremesa? Who is Balloon Girl? Can I see her fire pictures on Instagram, the videos, all of the documentation you've been doing of the workshops and events you've been having? Where can they find you? Where could they reach out to you?
Yes. Check me out on Instagram, sobremesa.exp on Instagram.
And it's spelled the same as that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And on Facebook, Sobremesa Events as well. We don't have a website yet, but we are working on that. So stay tuned for that. So yeah. And if you guys ever have any questions, just shoot me a DM. I have my number actually on Instagram, so that you guys could always call, text, whatever. Any questions, even if you're just curious, like how much would this cost? And I'll let you know.
Hey, she'll let you know.
I'll let you know.
So guys, make sure if you have any upcoming events this year, anything that you're planning, any important celebrations of life, whatever it may be, reach out to Alex, reach out to Sobremesa. She does an amazing job. It's quality balloons, it's quality event planning, and she's just a great person on top of it. You can already tell. And she's so easy to work with. Make sure you reach out to her and check out all of the people that we've had on the show in this last year who are entrepreneurs, business, event planners, or anything in between who are trying to make something more of themselves, because that's what it's about here. And make sure you tune in with me again on Also in the Young World with your host, Jessie Ellie. Cheers. Cheers. Hey. That's a wrap.